priority as such. But apart from this, they try to cooperate among themselves, and depending upon what suggestions they will be getting from their higher officials, they try to implement that. So by suggesting cuts in the number of steps in the process, the team was able to reduce the average number of days from 15 to 8. So this is about some kind of a process which they were doing, how they can cut down the days and improve upon their work. So basically, any kind of a problem-based situation, these teams meet up once in a week, discuss about the problems, what solutions they can come out with, gather information, implement it. Yes, then second one is self-managed work teams. Apart from problem-solving teams, this was the second type of team, which is self-managed work teams. Here, self-managed work teams, they are a group of employees, basically about 10 to 15 members, who perform highly related or interdependent jobs, and they take on many of the responsibilities of their former superiors. So here what happens is, they are a team working as individuals, but sometimes they also take work of, they also do the work of it. Yes?
Which chapter you are explaining, madam? Please clarify.
This is Unit 12, work teams.
Thank you, madam.
Okay. So here they meet up, but what happens over here is, these employees are individuals employees who work in a team, but sometimes they also perform the duties of their subordinates, their superiors. Whatever activities, whatever job the superior has to do, sometimes these individuals also tend to perform those activities. They take up those responsibilities also, and they manage the work. So this includes planning, scheduling of work, assigning tasks to members, collective control over the place of work, making operating decisions, taking actions on problems, and working with suppliers and customers. For example, suppose if a team is there and the team leader is there. The team leader is not attending a meeting, for example. The team leader is not attending the meeting, for example. So the team leader assigns his job, his responsibilities to some other person from the team, within the team. So that person has the responsibility to take over the team. So here that happens. Sometimes these individuals have the responsibility to take over their superiors' works. So fully self-managed work teams even select their own members and have the members evaluate each other's performance. As a result, supervisory positions take on decreased importance and may even be eliminated. So what happens is, everybody becomes a leader. There's no supervisor as such sometimes, not always, because they select their own team members, and obviously each team member will evaluate each other's performance. So here what is happening when you're evaluating each other's performance, there's nothing like a superior, subordinate, leader, or a follower, or people who are working under you. So everybody becomes a team. Sometimes the superior or supervisor will be eliminated. Then next comes cross-functional teams. Many organizations have used horizontal boundary spanning groups for decades. For example, IBM is a company which created a large task force in 1960s, made up of employees from across departments in the company to develop its highly successful System 360. So here, these companies like IBM and many other reputed companies, they make use of this cross-functional teams. So what exactly do we mean by these cross-functional teams? So basically in cross-functional teams, committees composed of members from across departmental lines are another example of cross-functional teams. So here, certain companies, including very, very famous companies like some of the automobile manufacturers and many other companies, they currently use this form of team to coordinate complex projects. Okay, so these teams basically, cross-functional teams are effective means for allowing people from diverse areas within an organization. So it is the word itself tells us cross-functional, in the sense the team is there, but the team members are literally from various backgrounds. Okay, from various backgrounds within the organization, and they exchange information, develop new ideas, and solve problems and coordinate complex projects. So what happens is, when people are coming from diverse backgrounds, they have a lot of ideas, in the sense there is diversity in ideas, and people can come out with a lot of information where they can exchange the information and develop new ideas and solve problems and coordinate complex projects. Of course, this particular cross-functional teams are, it's not like a very, very easy thing. It's not like a piece of a cake to manage, but the earlier stages of development are very often time consuming, as members learn to work with diversity and complexity. Obviously, initially, it's not like self-managed teams where people just come or problem-solving teams where people come, make a team, do the look into the problem, solve the problem, and yeah, and they tend to. Is it compulsory to start the video?
Last class, actually, I mean, we didn't have any video, so it was only audio. So I don't think it's compulsory.
It's not, and I don't think it's compulsory to start the video, because generally we generally don't start the video. We just do it audio. Shall I continue?
No issues, ma'am. Please continue.
Yeah. So here, when people come from various backgrounds, it does take time, because they are coming from diverse backgrounds, and this consumes time, because people have to learn about each other and form a team. Okay, and it takes time to build trust and teamwork, especially among people from different backgrounds with different experiences and perspectives, obviously. So some of the automobile companies like Toyota, Honda, Nissan, then BMW, Ford, and various Harley Davidson, all these companies actually make use of cross-functional teams. They make use of this particular team, type of team. Then virtual teams.
Excuse me, ma'am. Like cross-functional teams means basically an individual, or a team of people who has got expertise in multiple functions. I mean, is that correct? Like, for example, if a team can manage both marketing as well as finance, then can it be considered as a cross-functional team?
See, basically over here, there's a particular team for a particular project or for a particular work. So here in this cross-functional teams, what happens is it can be relating to finance, it can be relating to marketing, it can be relating to technical. There's a project, okay? And people working in this project as a team come from various backgrounds. It's not like, I pick up people from the organization. Yeah, this person. It's not like, for example, there are how many people over here? 40 students over here. I pick up 5 students randomly. It's not like that. It's like here in the cases, you can take people, or people tend to join the project from various backgrounds. It's diverse. They can come from other state, other country, or it can be from various other places. they tend to come forward to be a part of the project, and they become a team to work together. So in that team, it can be a finance person, it can be a marketing person, it can be a technical person, but they all work as a team. Okay, they all work as a team, and it takes time, first of all, to come out as a team, to prepare the team. And then because people are coming from very diverse backgrounds, and it takes time, it is a little complex, and it takes time for each other to build trust among themselves. They should first learn about each other who are there in the team, and then they start working on the project.
So it's almost like people coming from different departments with different skill set coming together and forming a team for a particular project, or to resolve some issue.
Yes, we can take it in that way also. To resolve an issue, or to work on a project. It can be anything, just to achieve organizational goals, whatever it can be.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's like cross-cultural and cross-functional is the same. Is it the same?
Cross-cultural is something, see, cross-functional is different, cross-cultural. Cross-cultural is from different cultures, right?
But functional also, people can come from different sections and different places.
Yeah, functional.
So they are also culturally different.
People may be culturally different, but there also can be varied functions. It's not here, culture is not the criteria. Cross functions, like different types of functions, is the criteria over here. The culture also can be different, but we are not bothered about the culture. It's not necessary that, suppose if a person comes, we don't see the culture of the person. We see what task, what skill he is having. Okay, so culture is nowhere concerned over here, actually. Cross-functional, we are more bothered about the skill, the qualification, expertise and all that.
Okay.
Yeah? Okay. Then we come to virtual teams. All these teams, that is problem-solving teams, then cross-functional and self-managed teams, they meet up and they work on a particular project face-to-face. Okay? But here, in virtual teams, they use a computer technology to tie together physically dispersed members in order to achieve a common goal. Nowadays, what we are doing, it is nothing but a virtual team. Okay, what we are doing right now, the online class, what we are doing, this is nothing but a virtual teamwork, what we are doing. Okay. So they allow people to collaborate online using communication links like wide area networks, video conferencing, or email, whatever they are only, whether they are only a room away or continents apart, anywhere in the world. If you are doing it on a virtual platform, you can connect to any person anywhere around the world. So virtual teams can do all the things that other teams also do. They share information, they gather information, they complete the tasks, they make decisions, they resolve problems and everything, but it is generally done virtually. And they include members of the same organization or link an organization members with employees from other organizations, like various other partners, which we can call. Yeah. So the three primary factors that differentiate virtual teams from face-to-face teams are the absence of paraverbal and non-verbal cues. Obviously, you're not there face-to-face. There are certain factors which are missing. Then limited social contact, the ability to overcome time and space constraints. Yes. So in a face-to-face conversation, people use paraverbal, that is tone of voice or voice volume, and non-verbal, if you're able to see the person, facial expressions, eye movements, gestures, and body language, etc., like verbal and non-verbal cues which are given. So virtual teams generally suffer from less social rapport and less direct interaction among members, because it's not like for the whole day, you cannot be connected virtually to a person or to a team. if you are going to an office, 9 to 5 job you're doing, the whole day you are with people, you're having social contacts. There is some kind of, face-to-face interaction with people. There's a direct connection with people. Social rapport is taking place. But on a virtual side, it's not like, it can be just a few hours, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, not more than that, or maybe sometimes more than that also. But generally, yeah, obviously more than that also, because during lockdown, most of the things we were doing online, like people were also working online, work from home, and we were also taking classes online. So yeah, depending upon the situation, we tend to work in a virtual mode, but it has its own pros and cons. Less social contact, no face-to-face interaction, no direct interaction, and less social rapport, which is taking place. Yeah. Virtual teams are also able to do their work even if members are far away. They're very far away, and it also allows people to work together who might otherwise never be able to collaborate. Sometimes it's difficult for a person to come to office, or meet up and resolve some issues. But on a virtual platform, this is possible, and it saves time, because it's like we need not wait for the person to come to your place and sit together and work on a project. But on a virtual platform, this is very convenient, because it reduces time and the effort to travel and all that. So these are the 4 types of teams: problem solving, self-managed teams, cross-functional, and virtual teams. Now we move forward to how we can make these teams more effective. Okay, how we can make teams more effective. Coming to making teams more effective. Yeah. There are certain basic factors which tell us how we can make teams more effective. So here they have given 4 general categories. Okay. First are the resources and other contextual influences that make teams effective. Second relates to teams composition. Then third category is work design. And the fourth, process variables, reflect those things that go on in the team that influences effectiveness. So first we will see relating to context. Okay, first we will see relating to context. So basically, depending upon the context, a team will be created. For example, under this context, we have leadership and structure. Yeah, leadership and structure. For a team to work more effectively, to sustain, to achieve the organizational goals and objectives, leadership is very, very important. Leadership is important, but sometimes it also says that it's not necessary to have a leader always, but still a leader and a structure of the team should go hand in hand, wherein the team works more efficiently. As we have seen in types of teams, self-managed work teams often perform better than teams with formally appointed leaders. And, it's not necessary that self-managed work teams should have a leader. Sometimes they take the responsibilities of the leader also, and they manage the team. So in that way, sometimes leaders are required, sometimes leaders might not be required. Then climate of trust. Members of effective teams trust each other, and they also exhibit trust in their leaders. Trust among team members, cooperation reduces the need to monitor each other's behavior and bonds members around the beliefs that others on the team won't take advantage of them. Obviously, when you're working in a team, for example, people playing cricket. Okay. So when you're playing a cricket, it's a team. It's a team which come together and they play cricket together. So obviously every team members should have trust upon each other. If there is no trust upon each other in that particular team, obviously the team won't survive and there are less chances of winning. Yes. So team members, team members, it's very, very important that in a team, there should be trust among each other. Yeah, then performance evaluation and reward systems. Yeah, in a team, obviously performance will be evaluated and some kind of reinforcement is given in type of some kind of rewards, or any kind of a reward system is given to the members of the team for, it is nothing but some kind of a reinforcement so that the team works more efficiently. Second category, composition. This category includes variables that relate to how teams should be staffed. For example, ability, personality of the team members, allocating roles and diversity, size of the team, member flexibility, and members' preferences for teamwork. So this is composition. What all should be composed of when you have to make an effective team. Okay. So first of all, abilities of the team members. It's very, very important. Part of team's performance depends on the knowledge, skills, and abilities of its members. Okay. Because depending upon the abilities, depending upon the skills of a member, that member is taken into the team. Okay. If the person is lacking certain abilities, if the person is not having certain abilities, which are actually required for certain goals of the team, then that person won't be selected in the first case because the team, that person is lacking that ability or the skill. So depending upon their skills, depending upon their abilities, team members will be selected, whatever criteria it can be, like depending upon what project they are doing. Then next is personality. Yeah. Personality is like a general factor wherein there are so many things related to personality. Okay, like it can be whether the person is an introvert, extrovert, how the person is managing their emotions, or whether the person is assertive, non-assertive. You know, there are so many things in a personality which are very, very important for a person to be a part of a team. Then allocating roles. Teams have different needs and people should be selected for a team to ensure that all various roles are filled. Okay, so if you are a part of a team, you have a role to play. And it is seen that your skills, your personality fit those particular roles. Then diversity. Most team activities require a variety of skills and knowledge. It is seen that diverse abilities, and information, diverse skills, more knowledge, more knowledge and various kinds of information is more effective. Diversity, when you're working as a team, diversity is very, very effective because you have so much coming from various backgrounds. Okay, so that also is taken care of because it is seen that when there's diversity, then definitely there is the team works more efficiently. Then the third category, in that particular thing only, size of the team. So it is seen that the team should be not very small, not very big, depending upon what project they are doing, depending upon what kind of task they are handling. It should have minimum from 7 to 9 or maximum of 10 people, but depending upon task at hand. It can also require more number of people. The more number of people, there's lot of diversity and also complexity involved. Though there is diversity, too much of diversity can also result in too much of complexity, because there are so many things the team members or the supervisor, the leader has to manage. So depending upon the task at hand, the size of the team should be manageable. Then member flexibility. Teams made up of flexible individuals have members who can complete each other's tasks. It's not like, it's not my work, why should I do? Suppose in a team, for example, if you take cricket team only, okay, if the fielder is there and the fielder, I mean, if the ball is coming towards one fielder, only that fielder will try, or various other fielders who are besides that man also will try. Others also will try, right? Because we don't know where exactly the ball will fall, right? Everybody will be coming running towards, that particular ball wherever it is falling. So it's not like it's coming your side, why should I catch? They will not have that kind of an attitude, right? So there has to be some kind of a flexibility among members. If a person is unable to do a task, the other person should be willingly take up the task and try to complete it. Then member preferences. Not every employee is a team player. Given the option, many employees will select themselves out of team participation. When people who would prefer to work alone are required to team up, there is a direct threat to team's morale and to individual member satisfaction. When selecting team members, individual preferences should be considered, as well as abilities, personalities, and skills. Say, for example, like if a person is very much interested, then only he must be a part of the team. If the person is not interested, the person cannot be pulled into the team, because the person might be interested working alone rather than being a part of that particular team, or he wants to be, or she wants to be a part of another team. So member preference also is very, very important. Then work design. Effective teams need to work together and take collective responsibility to complete significant tasks. Under work design, the work design category includes variables such as freedom and autonomy, opportunity to use different skills and talents, ability to complete the whole and identified task or product, working on a task or project that has a substantial impact on others. And, these are basically the various factors which are included in the work design, what exactly the work consists of. Okay, if these are maintained, a team can be, the team can work more effectively. Then the last category, process variables. These include member commitment to a common purpose, establishment of specific team goals, team efficacy, a managed level of conflict, and minimizing social loafing. Okay, here it is seen that under process variables, we have certain factors. Again, what is the common purpose of the team? Okay, then what are the specific goals of the team? Then what is team efficacy? That is, effective teams have confidence in themselves. They believe that they can succeed. Okay, this is what is called as team efficacy. Then conflict levels. A team should be able to manage conflicts in a better manner or completely avoid any kind of conflicts. Then social loafing. Individuals can engage in social loafing at cost on the group's effort because their individual contributions can't be identified. Effective teams undermine this tendency by holding themselves accountable at both the individual and team level. And apart from this, it is also seen that successful teams make members individually and jointly accountable for the team's purpose, goals, and approach. It's not like if the team is successful, I take the credit. If the team is not successful, I put the blame on you. It's not like that. Members are very clear on what they're responsible for individually and what they're responsible for jointly. There's no confusion as such. Everything is very clearly projected. Yeah. Then turning to individuals into team players, turning individuals into team players. Yeah. Just a second. So here, turning individuals into team players. Sometimes people, work individually. Later on, they come into a team. So we have made a strong case for the value and growing popularity of teams. But many people are not inherently team players. They are loners or people who want to be recognized for the individual achievements. There are also many organizations that have historically nurtured individual accomplishments. They have created competitive work environments in which only the strong survive. So here, what exactly they mean to say is, sometimes it is seen that, as I've told you, sometimes it's seen that some individuals only prefer working alone. They don't want to be a part of a team. Sometimes it so happens that because of the growing popularity of teams, people are ready to, if they are not able to achieve something individually, they don't hesitate to be a part of the team and gain success in that particular manner also. Then under this, we have challenge and shaping the team players, which includes selection, then training and rewards. Yeah, we know what is selection, training and rewards. Then teams and quality management. Guys, one thing I want to tell you all is over here, in teams and quality management, the same is repeated. Types of teams is repeated. If you notice, in teams and quality management, types of teams is repeated, like problem-solving teams, self-managed teams, cross-functional teams, and virtual teams. Okay, but though they have repeated it, I mean, the matter also is obviously same. It is nothing but teams and quality management is depending upon the type of team, how do they tend to manage their quality. Okay. Yeah. So any team, when there is proper cohesiveness in the team members, when there is trust among the team members, when there is less conflicts among the team members, and when the team members work with a lot of cooperation, the quality of the team can be managed very well. The quality of the team comes out very well. Okay. Yeah. So this is about understanding work teams. Next, we will move on to chapter 13, unit 13, communication. Unit 13, communication. Yeah. Shall I continue communication?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Why is it necessary for us to have communication? First of all, tell me, in generally, why is communication required?
Get some work done.
Yeah.
To get some work done, or to convey something, or to convey some feelings.
Okay.
Or to express something.
To see all are in the same page in the group.
That's good. Yes. Yeah. That's why I'm asking you all questions, so that I will know whether you all are alert or not. Yes. So communication is very, very important. First of all, it's not only in organizations, but everywhere. Wherever people are, communication is necessary. We all are social beings, isn't it? We all are social beings. So communication is very, very important for social beings to convey some information, to receive some information, to gather knowledge and to pass on the knowledge or to receive knowledge. It can be anything. Okay. So it is basically a very, very important tool in any kind of a group or in any kind of a team to make a group or a team more effectively. I mean, to run the team more effectively, to run the group more effectively, communication is very, very much needed. For example, if we take our family as a team, we don't take it as a group, isn't it? We take it as a team. Our family is a team. Imagine if all the team members in your family, like if you're taking family as a team, are silent, they don't communicate, they don't pass or receive information. Like, does the team work efficiently? It does not work efficiently. No, it does not. It is there under one roof, but still looks scattered, isn't it? It's little confused, chaotic, and all that. So communication is very, very much needed wherever there is some kind of social interaction taking place. So in this particular chapter, we'll be seeing what is communication, functions of communication, then types of communication, and what are the various forms of communication and barriers to effective communication. So it is little lengthy, so we'll just quickly run with the topic. So coming to the first, functions of communication. First of all, I want to tell you what is communication. Communication is nothing but it is an act wherein we receive information or we send information which happens between two people, either on a face-to-face or two or more people, either in a face-to-face or through any other medium. It can be on phone or email, it can be chatting, it can be anything, sending and receiving some kind of an information which happens between two or more people. So communication serves four major functions within a group or organization: control, motivation, emotional expression, and information. These are the four major functions of communication in any group. Yeah. So basically, communication fosters motivation by clarifying to employees what is to be done, how it is to be done, what can be done to improve performance. All this is very much needed, and the formation of specific goals, feedback on progress towards the goals, reinforcement, all this comes through communication only. So when you're working in an organization, communication is very much needed for you to know what you have to do, how you have to do, in what areas you have to improve, what feedback you're getting, and how can you improvise upon that particular feedback. So for many employees, their work group is a primary source for social interaction. The communication that takes place within that group is a fundamental mechanism by which members show their feelings or their feelings of satisfaction or dissatisfaction, it can be. So this particular communication provides a release for the emotional expression of feelings and for the fulfillment of social needs. Communication also relates to its role in facilitating decision making. So it provides the information that individuals and groups need to make decisions by transmitting the data to identify and evaluate alternative choices. Obviously, when you cannot communicate, when there's no communication taking place, decision making also suffers. Nobody is taking decisions, nobody is giving any decisions. Coming to the process of communication, many of y'all must have studied about the process of communication, or many of y'all might be having some kind of a rough idea about the process of communication, how communication starts, what is happening in between, where does it go, and what is the end result. Okay, it's just like very, very simple sender, receiver, all those things. That is nothing but process of communication. So here we see that the process, the communication model has 8 parts, 8 key parts in the model of communication. First is the sender, then encoding, message, decoding, receiver, noise, feedback, and response. These are the 7 key parts. So sender, who is the sender? Yes, the person who is initiating a message by encoding a thought is the sender. Like, I want to tell you all something. I am the sender. I have a message which I am trying to, encode it. My thoughts, I'm trying to encode my thoughts into some kind of a message. Then what I'm doing, I become the sender. I tend to send a message to y'all. So the message is the actual physical product from the sender's encoding process. After I encode my thoughts, I send a message. When we speak, the speech is the message. When we write, the writing is the message. When we chat, the words become the message. Gestures also can become the message. So I am sending you the message. Then how am I sending it? There has to be a channel, isn't it? So the channel is the medium through which the message travels. It can be like, so it is selected by the sender. The sender decides what channel he or she wants to use, who must determine whether to use a formal or an informal channel. Okay. Formal channels are established by the organization and transmit messages that are related to professional activities of members. They traditionally follow the authority chain within the organizations. Other forms of message, such as personal or social, follow the informal channels in the organization. So informal channels are more spontaneous and emerge as a response to individual choices. Once the sender selects a channel and sends the message, then the receiver. Then comes the next part, the receiver. The receiver is the object to whom the message is directed. Like, if I am the sender, there has to be a person who has to receive my message. When there is no receiver, sending a message is waste. Yes. So the receiver is the person whom the message is directed to. Yeah. But before sending the message, the symbols in it must be translated into a form that can be understood by the receiver. This step is called as decoding of the message. Then apart from this, noise represents communication barriers that distort the clarity of the message. Examples of possible noise include some kind of, for example, if we are having a virtual online class, technical problems, network issues, these can be the barriers of, sending and receiving information. Then the final link in the communication process is the feedback. Feedback is the check on how successful we have been in transferring our messages as originally intended. It determines whether understanding has been achieved or not. So, for example, if I ask you all, did you all understand the key parts of communication model? Did everyone understand the key parts of communication model, how the communication process works?
Yes, madam. This is feedback.
Yes, thank you. I was expecting that only. So when you say yes, that is a feedback. When you say no also is a feedback only. It's not necessary that if you say yes only is a feedback. If you say no also is a feedback. Like, you have heard my message. Maybe you did not understand, or maybe there was a barrier, but you are giving me some feedback. Ma'am, I understood, I did not understand. I heard it was not clear. I heard it properly and I understood. I did not hear it properly, hence I did not understand. So the sender should get some kind of a feedback, okay, to know whether the message has reached the receiver or not, whether the communication process was successful or not. We generally say communication process is successful when we get a positive feedback. We generally say communication process is not successful. We generally get negative feedback. Okay, so this is about process of communication. I hope it's clear. Then we move on to direction of communication. Yes, direction of communication. What do you mean by direction of communication? That means, how is the communication flowing? Okay, I mean, we generally use the terms how communication flows, whether it's flowing vertically or laterally, horizontally, downward, upward, lateral, these are different directions through which communication flows. These directions tell us who is at the receiving end. Depending upon that, the directions will be fixed. So coming to downward, communication pattern or communication that flows from one level of a group of organization to a lower level. Downward in the sense, when communication is called as downward, the communication is going from up to down. That means from top level to lower level. Okay. When a superior is saying something or conveying something to the subordinate, it is called as a downward communication. Okay, so when we think of managers communicating with employees, the downward pattern is the one we are usually thinking of. It's used by group leaders and managers to assign goals, provide job instructions, inform the employees of policies and procedures, point out problems that need attention, and offer feedback about performance. This is called as downward communication. Okay, then next we have upward communication. Upward communication is where information flows to a higher level in the group or organization. It is used to provide feedback to higher-ups, inform them of progress towards goals, relay current problems. Upward communication keeps managers aware of how employees feel about their jobs, co-workers, and organization in general. In some of the organizations, sometimes it so happens that there's only downward communication, there is no upward communication. Upward communication is also very much needed because the employees working also should be heard. Like if they are trying to communicate to the top management, they should have a chance to communicate to their supervisors and to the subordinates, to their boss. They should have a chance because, it shows what the employees are feeling about their job, about their co-workers, or about the organization in general. So this is upward kind of a communication. Then lateral communication, when communication takes place among members of the same work group, at the same level, or among managers at the same level, or among any horizontally equivalent personnel, we describe this as a lateral communication. Okay, this is called as a lateral communication. Yeah. In some cases, these lateral relationships are formally sanctioned and they are informally created to short circuit the vertical hierarchy and expedite action. So lateral communication can, from management's point of view, be good or bad sometimes, depending upon what kind of task they are communicating. Yeah. Then we have interpersonal communication. Next we have, just a second. Interpersonal communication. How do group members communicate between and among themselves? There are three basic methods people usually rely upon: oral, written, and non-verbal communication. This is what is called as how group members communicate between each other. First is oral communication. Okay, what is oral communication? What is oral communication?
Talking, speech.
Speaking, yes. Speeches, formal one-to-one group discussions. Then it can be rumors, grapevine. It can be anything, any popular form of form wherein we are talking, we are giving speech, we are communicating. That's called as oral communication. So the advantages of oral communication are speed, and you get immediate feedback. Like I'm talking to you, immediately you are able to understand, and you are able to, you're able to hear it, what I'm saying, and immediately you're giving me the feedback. It is very quick and easy. A verbal message can be conveyed and a response received in a minimal amount of time. If the receiver is unsure of the message, rapid feedback allows for clear detection by the sender, and it also allows for early corrections. As I've told you, feedback is very, very quick in oral communication. Suppose if you understand, if you don't understand, if you tell me, immediately there's correction which is made. A major disadvantage in oral communication is of oral communication surfaces in organizations, or whenever the message has to be passed through a number of people. Okay, the more people a message must pass through, the greater the potential distortion. Yes. Yeah, this is a kind of a disadvantage in oral communication. It's very, very what do you say, true, because there's a lot of grapevine which is seen. A grapevine is not a drink which I'm talking about, but it is something like a distortion in the message. Like, for example, in certain activities, whether in college or in office, we tend to play this game which is called as telephone. Okay, say for example, I tell a sentence. If there are 20 people, I mean, the large the group, the better. If there are 20, 30 people in a group, and I tell the message orally, okay, in the ears of the person, from the first person to the 30th person, the oral message which I have sent will change. Definitely it gets distorted. This is the best means of saying how oral communication can become very, very distorted. Like if I type a message and if I send it to you, you will simply copy paste the message and send it to many members at a time. Even if it is going for 100 members or 1,000 members, the message will not get distorted, right? If you copy paste. But orally, there are chances that it gets distorted. Yeah. Next is written communication. Written communication includes letters, fax, electronic mails, instant messages. Nowadays we have SMS, chats, and all that. Notice, bulletin boards. All these are written. It can be via words, or it can be also through symbols. Nowadays, more than words, we make use of smileys or the icons. What are those? Emotions. Yes?
Emojis.
So, emojis. Yeah, exactly. Emojis. We make use of those emojis, and it can be anything. So that is written. You are communicating something through emojis also. So that is taken as written communication. Then we have non-verbal communication is like, can you all tell me what is non-verbal communication? What
through
is
gestures or expressions.
Yes.
Body language.
Yes,
Through
exactly.
gestures or expressions.
Yes. Apart from oral and written, we also have non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication also can communicate a lot because sometimes a simple smile, a small wave, hand wave, a simple frown, a shrug, it can be so many forms of non-verbal communication can convey so much of information to the other person. These can include body language, facial expressions, then what is that? Gestures. Yes. Eye contact, tone of voice also sometimes. Okay. So all this comes under non-verbal communication. So actions speak more than words, they say. So whatever you are doing, like it can be anything, your body language, it can be your facial expressions, it can be your gestures, anything can convey a lot of information. Then, yeah, those are the forms of communication. Then coming to organizational communication.
Ma'am, 1 second,
Here,
ma'am.
yes.
Ma'am, 1 second. What's the difference between lateral communication and interpersonal communication, madam? Because there you said that among members of the same group, you told about lateral communication. And here
Which
also,
one?
you're saying among group members.
Which one?
Difference between lateral communication and interpersonal communication.
Interpersonal? I did not, yeah. See, interpersonal lateral communication is how communication is flowing. We are talking, I see, for example, lateral communication is where communication takes place between members of the same hierarchy. It can be of the same work group. It can be among, same level of managers. It can be among same level of people. It can be anything like that, lateral. It is how communication is flowing. Interpersonal communication here, it is seen what mode you are using. I am in a lateral direction. Okay, but what mode I am using in lateral again? Am I using oral? Am I using written? Am I using non-verbal? That's the difference. Okay, interpersonal communication.
Interpersonal communication can be in
see,
other areas also, like downward,
yes,
upward also.
Basically, the title which is given interpersonal communication, actually it should be what are the types of communication. One is direction of communication, which is downward, upward, and lateral, and types of communication, which are oral, written, and non-verbal. These are basically called as types of communication, but they have given it as interpersonal communication, how we communicate between each other. Okay, this is what form of communication, what mode of communication you are using to interact between each other, whether you're using oral, whether you're using written, or whether you're using non-verbal. Yes, interpersonal can be in any form. Okay. Then moving on to organizational communication. Yeah. So here they have given internal or organizational communication, then external communication, then functions of internal and external. Let me tell you one more thing here. There's not much of a difference between, interpersonal communication and organizational communication, because we make use of the same modes, same types again, but there in an interpersonal way, here in an organizational way. For example, the first one, internal or organizational communication. Here, this is a communication that takes place within or across an organization. In addition to the usual face-to-face, telephone, fax, mail, modern organizations may also use technology to communicate internally. Technology may be used for emails or a linked internal communication system such as intranet, which is an internet system designed solely for use by those working for the organization. So here in organizational communication, they are telling us what type of communication, what mode of communication they use to convey message. They not only use face-to-face and electronic, but also they use various other extended forms of technical communication modes. Okay. Then external communication. Here, external communication is communication between the organizations and from outside the organization. In internal, it is within the organization. In external, it is outside the organization. Many modern organizations may design technological systems so that they can communicate with customers and undertake e-commerce outside the organization. Alternatively, they communicate with other businesses through the internet or similar systems and undertake e-business. Like nowadays, the e-business platform is, it's like running, and this is the what do you say? Present scenario in which e-business is running more effectively. So that is external communication, communication among organizations, or communication to other organizations, or communication to customers outside organization. Okay. Then next, what are the functions of these internal and external communication? Coming to the combined internal and external types of communication. Here in external communication, they make use of, the same things are repeated again. Letters, fax, direct mail, internet, video, telephone, advertising, and websites. They also use team briefings, notices, reports, memos, face-to-face, and email. So both the things, actually, these functions can be combined together because whether it is internal or external, the functions, what they perform can be combined. Yeah. Then apart from this, we have formal and informal communication. Formal communication is defined as communication which occurs through the official organizational channel or is undertaken by an employee to do their job. Official meetings, letters, and all those things. Informal communication is that which occurs outside the recognized communication network, such as any kind of, like, for example, apart from talking to your boss, like you talk to your colleagues in the canteen. That is nothing but an informal type of a communication. Okay. Then formal small group networks. Formal organization networks can be very complicated. For instance, they include hundreds of people and half dozen or more hierarchical levels. Here, it is seen that there are 3 networks which work, and these 3 networks have been extremely simplified, and they do allow us to describe the unique qualities of each, which is the chain, wheel, and the all-channel network. So these are some of the networks which are used by formal groups, formal small groups. For small groups, like chain is nothing but they follow a formal chain of command. Okay, a particular chain which is there, and the information is passed exactly based on the chain. The wheel relies on a central figure, like how the wheel design is. From the central figure, the information goes to all the other areas. Then the all-channel network permits all group members to actively communicate with each other. It's like, it's combined. There's no central, there's no chain, it's combined. So this is how the network, formal small group networks work. Then coming to Grapevine, this is something called as an informal type. Grapevine may be informal. That doesn't mean that it's not an important source of information. For instance, a survey found that 75% of employees hear about matters first through rumors on the grapevine. Yes. The grapevine has 3 major characteristics. It is not controlled by management. It is perceived by most employees as being more believable and reliable than formal communications. Then third, it is largely used to serve the self-interests of people within it. Okay. Grapevine also is considered as a type of communication. But sometimes a lot of rumors also spread through grapevine. That's why it's called as more of an informal kind of a communication. Then computer-aided communication. So this is all
Can lateral communication be informal communication too?
Which one?
Can lateral communication be informal communication too?
Lateral communication can be formal and informal because it happens within the same hierarchy, like same level, at the same level. Say, for example, like all you all college students communicate among yourselves. It's a lateral communication at the same level. It can be formal, it can be informal also.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. Computer-aided communication. So this is something related to technology, and nowadays technology is everywhere. I mean, everything is based on technology, and the pandemic has made many people more technology oriented, and we have learned so much of things online. Technical knowledge has improved a lot because everything was online. Yeah. So communication in today's organization is enhanced and enriched by computer-aided technologies. These include electronic mail, instant messaging, intranet and extranet links, and video conferencing. Apart from this, we have electronic mail, which has dramatically reduced the number of memos, letters, and phone calls that employees historically used to communicate among themselves and with suppliers, customers, or other outside stakeholders. So I think I'll just brush up with this. We know what is email. Everybody knows what is an email. Yes. Then, yeah, email, obviously, it's a communication tool and it has a long list of benefits. It's very quick, quickly written, edited, and stored. It can be distributed to one person or thousands of people at the same time. It has its own benefits and its own advantages and disadvantages. Then instant messaging, which has been popular among, earlier only, teens would use it, but nowadays it's moving rapidly into business. Nowadays we see a lot of business organizations also make use of instant messages when once you buy something in a mall, immediately you get a WhatsApp message from that particular, shop or store where the bill is sent to your WhatsApp. Like if you ask for a bill, that's it. We have WhatsApp you the bill, you can check it online. So like that, that's instant messages, which is not only for normal communication, but also for business communication. Yeah. Then we have intranet and extranet links. Intranets are private organization-wide information networks that look and act like a website, but to which only people in an organization have access. That's intranet. Okay. Then, yeah. Organizations are creating extranet links that connect internal employees with selected suppliers, customers, and strategic partners. So here, some kind of electronic messages and documents will be sent. Okay, some kind of links or electronic messages will be sent. So that's intranet and extranet links. Then video conferencing, yeah, we all know what is video conferencing. It permits employees in an organization to have meetings with people at different locations. Live audio and live video images of members allow them to see, hear, and talk with each other. So video conferencing technology allows employees to conduct interactive meetings without the necessity of all physically being active or physically being present in the same location. So that's about video conferencing. Then it has its own advantages and disadvantages. Then knowledge management. What exactly do you mean by knowledge management? So here, this is the last topic under organizational communication is knowledge management. This is a process of organizing and distributing an organization's collective wisdom so the right information gets to the right people at the right time. Knowledge management provides an organization with both a competitive edge and improved organizational performance because it makes its employees smarter. Okay. Then based on this knowledge management, yeah, what else we have in this? So knowledge management is being used, or it's being increasingly important today for the various reasons. In many organizations, intellectual assets are now as important as physical or financial assets. Then organizations that can quickly and efficiently tap into their employees' collective experience and wisdom are more likely to outsmart their competition. Then secondly, baby boomers begin to leave the workforce. There's an increasing awareness that they represent a wealth of knowledge that will be lost if there are no attempts to capture it. So this is all relating to how organizations make use of knowledge management. Okay. Yes. Selecting of employees, sustaining of employees, and trying to improve the morale of the employees, or to improve the knowledge of the employees. Knowledge management is used in organizations. Yeah. Coming to barriers to effective communication. What do you mean by barriers? Barriers to communication is?
Difficulties in communication, ma'am.
1 second. Yes. Yeah, difficulties in? Yes, somebody said difficulties in communication.
Hurdles.
Yes.
In communication.
Yeah. These are some kind of hurdles in communication. Any kind of disturbances, hurdles, obstacles are called barriers. Barriers of communication which distort the effective communication. Can you quickly tell me few hurdles of communication? Quickly, without seeing your book. Generally.
Noise.
Okay. And yes? Language. I didn't get you.
Clarity of the content.
Language.
Language.
Clarity of the content.
Language, clarity of the content.
And fear of the
Okay. Okay. Yes. And language. Okay. And
Subject matter expertise also.
Location. Location not necessary, ma. Yes.
environmental.
Yeah.
Okay.
Information.
Yes.
Information.
Information only is like, if you're not getting information, then that's a barrier, no ma.
Subject matter expertise.
Okay. And what else? That's all?
Sometimes emotional state of a person also create a barrier to communication.
Yes. So from long time we have been discussing about technology and all that stuff. So no Wi-Fi is also a barrier, isn't it?
Silent. Technical problems, madam.
Technical problems only I'm saying. That from that time we are talking about technical aspects. So not having proper internet, no Wi-Fi, no mobile data also is a barrier.
Yes, madam.
Yeah.
Cross-cultural, madam.
Yeah.
Cross-cultural.
How do you think it's a barrier? Like, can you explain me? Different languages which you communicate from different cultures.
Even different gestures mean different things in different
Sometimes
cultures.
some gestures, yeah, exactly. Maybe. Yes.
Hello.
See, gestures are very, very common. Like, suppose if you don't understand the other person, what he is talking, you can just say, you can just shrug your shoulders and you can just nod your head. It means you did not understand. So gestures are common in any culture. If you're nodding, body language, yeah, it's like common in every culture. Almost common. Not I don't say all, always, almost.
Some of the gestures can be totally mean different things in different cultures.
Maybe some of the sign languages or some of the, yeah, maybe some of the cultures. Okay. So coming to barriers to effective communication, we have filtering, then selective perception, information overload, emotions, and language. Filtering refers to a person's purposely manipulating information so it will be seen more favorable by the receiver. For example, when a manager tells his boss what he feels his boss wants to hear, he is filtering information. Okay, that is nothing but manipulating the information is called filtering the information. Then selective perception. The receivers in the communication process selectively see and hear based on their needs, motivations, experience, background, and other personal characteristics. Receivers also project their interests and expectations into communication as they decode them. For example, it is like how I perceive the information. Okay, receivers receivers project their interests and expectations into communication as they decode them. Like the sender is sending a message, but you are understanding the message how you want to understand. It's not how the sender is sending. Okay, so that becomes a barrier again. Then information overload, obviously. Our brain, our memory system can carry only a particular quantity of information. Beyond that, it's bound. Suppose I take a class for continuously 3-4 hours. Obviously, even I can't talk maybe, but even if I talk, it gets overload, isn't it? You need a break. You need a change. Information gets overload, and that too in a virtual kind of classroom, obviously it gets overload. So individuals having a finite capacity for processing data, when information we have to work with exceeds our processing capacity, this results in information overload. Okay, like if we see, even in our phones, mobile phones, if your data is full, I mean storage capacity is full, it will not receive any new messages. It will say delete your old messages, then new messages are in queue, isn't it? So the same thing happens with us. Then emotions, how the receiver feels at the time of receipt of a communication will influence how he or she interprets it. The same message received when you're angry or distraught is often interpreted differently from when you're happy, obviously. Here, depending upon your emotional state, you understand the emotion in that particular manner. Okay, language. So words mean different things to different people. Language definitely has a lot of influence in communication, because in mostly verbal communication where you have to speak, and when language is like the prominent thing to communicate something, and when there is a barrier, like for example, when the other person is not able to understand your language, or when you are not able to understand the other person's language, communication fails. That's actually a very big barrier, communication barrier. Yeah. So that is about barriers to effective communication. But apart from this, we also have some kind of external barriers, which can be noise, sounds, or technical barriers, which can be any kind of technical issues like mobile data or no Wi-Fi or any other technical problems. Okay, all these also can be taken as barriers to communication. Yes, then current issues in communication. So here it is seen that why do men and women often have difficulty communicating with each other? What roles does silence play in communication? What are the implications of the politically correct movement on communications in organizations? So here basically gender differences. What are the gender differences in communication barriers? Like what do men and women think about in their communication process? Okay, communication barriers between men and women. It can be anything, like depending upon how women think about men understand, or how men think women understand, that can become barriers. Okay, then apart from this, yeah, so they have given few points. Men frequently complain that women talk on and on about their problems. Women criticize men for not listening. What's happening is that when men hear a problem, they frequently assert their desire for independence and control by offering solutions. Many women, on the other hand, view telling a problem as a means to promote closeness. So this is how, men and women tend to understand their communication process. Yeah, silence as communication. Silence also can speak a lot of words. Sometimes silence is more powerful than words, they say. So in organizations, I mean, in generally in social interactions, when there's silence, that also gives a lot of different meanings. But in organizations, if you see, silence defined here as absence of speech or noise has been generally ignored as a form of communication in OB because it represents inaction or non-behavior. Okay, it can mean someone is thinking or contemplating a response to a question. It can mean a person is anxious, fearful of speaking. It can signal agreement, dissent, frustration, or anger. So silence can mean a lot, many things to people, and every person can take silence in a different manner. Yes. Yeah. Next, coming to cross-cultural communication. Yes, somebody was very much interested in cross-cultural communication. Effective communication is difficult under the best of conditions. Cross-cultural factors clearly create the potential for increased communication problems. Yes. A gesture that is well understood and acceptable in one culture can be meaningless and levied in another. As somebody said, gestures can mean different meanings in different cultures. Somebody said that point. Yes. Then cultural barriers. Yeah. First, there are barriers caused by semantics. Words mean different things to different people. Yeah, depending upon different national cultures, some words, for instance, don't translate between cultures. Okay, like some words have a different meaning in one culture. The same word can mean something else in some other culture. So semantics barrier can be seen in cross cultures. Then barriers caused by word connotations. Words imply different things in different languages. Negotiations between, for example, negotiations between Americans and Japanese executives, for instance, are made more difficult because the Japanese word hi translates as yes, but its connotation may be yes, I'm listening, rather than yes, I agree. So like that, it has different meanings. Okay. Then third barrier is caused by tone difference. In some cultures, language is formal. In others, it's informal. In some cultures, the tone changes depending on the context. People speak differently at home, in social situations, and at work. Using a personal informal style in a situation in which a more formal style is expected can be embarrassing and off-putting. So tone, I don't think tone is only, yeah, it's cross-cultural barrier. Yeah, we can take it as a cross-cultural barrier. Sometimes, you know, tone of the voice, people generally misunderstand the tone of the voice. Some people are naturally loud. Some people's tone is as if they're fighting. Some people's tone is as if they're not interested in what you're saying. So it's like misunderstood. Some people's tone of their voice is misunderstood by others, and this can be a barrier. Okay. So this is about cross-cultural communication and its barriers. And yeah, we end our topic with communication. And in the next class, I think we are done with block 3. Groups, models of group development, group decision-making, understanding work teams, and communication. I hope everything is clear in this block 3.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so maybe next week onwards, we'll start with leadership, theories
Sure,
of leadership. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, then thank you all. See you all next week.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Georgie,